But if they come to you and they say, we want to hire you, and we want to make sure that, you know, Hershey's chocolate is 100% kosher, right? And what are you going to do? You're going to say, no, you should send out a guy who's got no Yiras Shamayim? What kind of answer is that? They come to you and they say, here's an opportunity for some real Yiras Shamayim to go there. They're not asking you to touch a woman. They're not asking you to run out there unsneezed. They're saying, you know, dressed as you are, represent the Jewish people, go in there and make sure the things are ingredients. You take their money and you do it. Because now they're doing something holy with the money, right? Because if they don't get you, they're going to send out, if you know what I mean? If Frimmies don't do it, they're going to send somebody who's not Frimmy out.
I hate it when they push me to touch women. It just makes me absolutely sick. I vomit every time afterwards that I have to do it. It's just like, to my very core, it just like shakes me up.
When was the last time you had to touch women?
Last time I had to touch women? Oh, I can't even go back there because it's just so painful to me.
I see the guy, he's, you know, on his blog, you know, what does he want to do with himself for a living? He wants to perform the Alexander technique.
But
and
that's
I didn't even know what I never even heard of it. I'm like, look, I'm checking this thing out on his blog as he's talking about it, and it's like it's his opportunity to touch women again.
But it's like it's medical.
Yeah.
It's for medical reasons. It's like it's educational. It's not erotic. Like it's educational. The Alexander technique is educational. It's not. There's no funny business going on. I mean, just because I got my hands all over a woman when but I'm trying to teach her how to move with grace and poise and dignity. So you wouldn't want to deny women the opportunity to have grace, poise, and dignity when they move, would you?
All right. So Pimp Daddy asked a question here, and I want to. But I'm going to do them in order because they're flying off the thing. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Baba Metzia says OU's kosher gets funding for NCSY. The way it works in the OU is that kashrus, you know, by working with like Heinz and all these other people, bring in all this goyish money, right? Mm-hmm. And it gets funneled into the organization, which is one big umbrella, and then most of it goes over to NCSY, and the kids piss it out their ass. That's basically what happens, right? So kashrus brings in the money, and it gets blown out by NCSY, right? So if you're going to say, well, wait a minute, you're raising money for NCSY, right? But if we stopped, right, what would be the alternative? I don't have any power where the money goes, right? I'm powerless to believe me. I'd rather have the money stay in the kosher side. I would have stayed there. You know what I'm saying? But what's the alternative? What's the alternative? The alternative is terrible. The alternative is if everybody who like had Yiras Shamayim walked away, what would happen? Then they'd only have people who don't have Yiras Shamayim, right? So that's number one. Number two is they would just junk the whole kashrus department, right? If you say, well, better they shouldn't have any of it, then you wouldn't be able to eat anything. So at some point you just have to say, I'm taking their money and I'm going to improve the organization. Excuse me, Rabbs. He says, Pimp Daddy says, there was an Amora that was a rabbi that said her pilpul from behind the mechitza. I don't know that story at all, but it says, and what do you say about the Nevi'im that were women? And I've answered that question before. Like, what do you do about a woman who was a Navi? Being a Navi is not being a leader, right? Because we talked about that before in the case of Ovadia, mm-hmm. right? If a Navi is considered a leader, then how could Ovadia be a prophet, right? Because that would be a leader. And we say that a Ger can't be a leader over the Jewish people, right? That's a halacha. So we have to say that prophets are not leaders of the Jewish people. They're just merely prophets. They're not leaders in the sense of, you know, a rabbi who's leading a congregation. And in that sense, a woman could be theoretically a Navi, no problem. She could even be a judge, like in the case of Devorah, but she cannot take a position where she's going to stand up at the bima and start preaching everybody what to do. That she can't do. And if there is a Gemara, I'm not familiar with that one. I never claim to know the whole Talmud Baal Peh, but if there is a Gemara that one did it from behind the mechitza, there's your answer. If a woman wants to be behind the curtain and start talking from there, I would have less problems. But when she walks up behind the bima and she talks to the entire congregation at one time, no good.
What's your favorite kosher dessert?
What about, he says, what, Star K? Star K is good.
What's your favorite kosher dessert?
Kosher dessert?
Yeah.
I like pecan pie, man. What about you?
Pecan pie is good.
Pecan pie good?
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah. So Gregory says, so Luke can't be a leader?
You can't sit on a base then.
No. That's right, because I'm a convert. There are certain things that a convert should not do.
That's right. You cannot sit on a base then. You can't be the rabbi of a community. Right? You can't be like I'm the Rav here. I'm the big rabbi in town. You can't.
I just like to quietly shine my light as a moral leader, very humbly on my blog and through my videos, through my general demeanor.
Yeah, I don't think what you're doing right now is a big. And what do you say about revolutionary women in Jewish history like Sarah Schneer? Oh, that's very interesting because I'm related.
To Sarah Schneer?
Not her, but the one she was with was Kaplan, Rebbetzin Kaplan. You know Mordechai Kaplan.
Yeah.
Together they started Beis Yaakov's, right? My nephew is a direct descendant from that Kaplan family. I have no problem. I'm the guy that put out a video this week. Hello, Pimp Daddy, you watched my video, right? I have no problem with the idea that a woman is more than just somebody who gives birth and spits out children. I have no problem with that. I believe the revolutionary thing is what I'm going to say. That women Jews have purpose even without giving birth to kids. And this will be my final vort. This is what we'll leave on. Women have a purpose, and they can do tremendous things. And I think that Rebbetzin Schneer and Rebbetzin Kaplan are great examples of what a woman can do to channel her energies and do great things that she could do even without kids. But to call them rabbis, they never claim to be rabbis. They don't get on front of the pulpit on Shabbos and put on a talis or put on tefillin. They don't have the need to do guy things. They don't stand behind the bima and preach or to lead or feel that they need to lead the guys. Rebbetzin Kaplan never did that. She started Beis Yaakov. You can do that behind the scenes. You can do it B'tzina and like Bas Melech Kavoda Panima. What's so funny?
It was 28-3. Baltimore over Houston. It's now 28-26 with 20 seconds left.
And they're going to go for two?
And they're going to go for two. They were down 28-3, basically with a quarter to go.
They choked. Baltimore really choked.
But Baltimore's twice lost this year when they were leading by 7 points in the fourth quarter.
Yeah, Baltimore gave up a 65-yard drive with like 40 seconds left and no timeouts this game, and it killed me because I had Baltimore that night.
Look at this catch.
Oh, he just got that foot down. That was a hell of a catch.
They're going for two. Do you have a favorite kosher bakery in Pico Robertson where you like to get your desserts? Schwartz? Yeah, Schwartz is good. So they're going for two. Matt Schwab. Back for pass. He has all day. Baltimore so tired. Oh, they got it! Can you believe it?
I don't believe it.
They came back with 25 points in the fourth quarter to tie this game.
I don't believe it.
Baltimore's defense was so gassed. Look how much time he had to throw.
What the hell happened? That game was a blowout.
The game was a blowout.
What the hell happened? Oh my god, massive fail.
So I'm going to turn this off. Do you have any final comments,
No,
kids?
that's it.
Don't do crack. Stay in yeshiva.
Thanks, guys. Good job. Thank you, Pimp Daddy. And Bubba Mitzvah, you're right. Sports is not sneeze. I should learn from you. All right.